Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. In H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, the Martians are defeated by the common cold. Bacteria kill them because they have no immunity. But what if the aliens are immune? What if they are biologically perfect, immortal beings who have evolved beyond disease? How would such a pristine civilization react to the messy, leaking, chaotic biology of a human being with the flu? Today's story is about the invasion of the Vylosian Purity fleet. They came to cleanse the galaxy. They were unstoppable. Their armor was impenetrable. Their weapons were absolute. But they had one weakness: they were germaphobes. This is the story of how a man named Barry, who had run out of sick days, saved the world simply by failing to cover his mouth. If you are currently fighting a cold, hit that like button in solidarity. You are a bioweapon. And if you want to see an alien empire retreat because they think snot is a corrosive acid, subscribe and ring the bell. Grab a tissue. It's about to get messy. High Purifier Xylos stood on the levitating platform above Times Square. The Vylosians were beautiful. They were tall, slender beings made of smooth, white bioceramic. They did not have pores. They did not sweat. They did not excrete. They were photosynthesizing perfectionists who viewed the universe as a dirty room that needed to be bleached. Behind Xylos, the Purity fleet hovered silently. Sleek, sterile ships that hummed with the promise of sterilization. Citizens of Dirtball Sol 3, Xylos projected his voice telepathically to the millions of New Yorkers frozen in fear below. I am High Purifier Xylos. We have analyzed your world. It is moist. It is covered in bacteria, fungus, and mud. It offends the aesthetic of the ascendancy. He raised a staff made of glowing glass. We shall not destroy you. That would create ash, and ash is messy. We shall encase your planet in a sterile force field. You will be preserved in stasis, clean and unchanging, forever. Submit to the purity. The crowd watched in silence. The NYPD gripped their guns, but they knew bullets would just bounce off the bioceramic armor. The Vylosians were gods. And gods do not bleed. But Barry didn't care about gods. Barry cared about his sinuses. Barry stood in the front row of the crowd. He was wearing a rumpled coat over his pajamas. He had been on his way to the pharmacy to buy NyQuil when the invasion started. Barry had this super flu. His head felt like a balloon filled with concrete. His throat was on fire. And his nose was a leaking faucet of misery. Submit. Xylos commanded, floating down to street level to accept the surrender of the Earth's leaders. The mayor of New York stepped forward, trembling. But Barry stepped forward too. Not because he was brave, but because he was delirious with fever and needed to ask the alien if they had any space aspirin. Hey, Barry croaked. His voice was thick with congestion. Hey, shiny guy. Xylos turned his pristine, featureless face towards Barry. Do not approach the purifier, unclean creature, Xylos warned. You are vibrating. Your temperature is elevated. Are you a bomb? I'm sick, Barry sniffled. He wiped his nose on his sleeve. A shiny trail of mucus remained on the fabric. Xylos recoiled. His visual sensors zoomed in on the sleeve. What is that? Xylos whispered in horror. You are leaking. Your internal fluids are escaping your containment suit. Is it hydraulic failure? It's snot, Barry grumbled. Listen, do you guys have a cure for the common cold? Because I feel like death. Snot. Xylos consulted the galactic database. No entry found. The Vylosians had eradicated disease 1 billion years ago. They had forgotten what it looked like. To Xylos, a fluid leaking from the facial orifice of a biological entity could only mean one thing: a defensive secretion. Back. Xylos shouted to his guards. The creature is preparing to discharge a chemical weapon. Shields up. The Vylosian guards raised their energy shields. They aimed their disintegration lances at Barry. But Barry felt it coming. The tickle deep in his nostrils. The undeniable, unstoppable force of nature. He drew a breath. His chest expanded. His eyes watered. Ah! Barry gasped. He is charging his primary weapon. A Vylosian guard screamed. Look at the facial distortion. The intake of atmospheric gases. Ah! Chew. It was a thunderous sneeze. A sneeze that had been building since Tuesday. Because Barry was holding his hands up in a surrender gesture, he didn't cover his mouth. The spray was magnificent. Thousands of micro-droplets of saliva and mucus, propelled at 100 miles per hour, erupted from Barry's face. They hit the energy shield of the High Purifier. The shield rippled. It stopped the kinetic impact. But the fluid stuck to the energy field. Xylos stared at the green and yellow slime dripping down his force field, inches from his face. Contact! Xylos shrieked, a sound that shattered windows. I have been contaminated. The shield is compromised. He scrambled backward, tripping over his own robes. Analyze the substance, he screamed at his medical drone. The drone scanned the sneeze. Analysis complete, the robotic voice stated. Substance is a biohazard cocktail. Contains live viral agents, dead cellular matter and high-viscosity protein chains. It is sticky. Sticky? Xylos gagged. Is it acidic? Will it melt through the hull? Unknown. But it is teeming with billions of microorganisms. They are replicating. They are feasting. The Vylosian soldiers panicked. To a race of sterile beings, the idea of millions of tiny monsters living inside a fluid was the ultimate nightmare. He is a hive, a soldier yelled, pointing his weapon at Barry. He is a walking colony of plagues. Do not shoot him. If he explodes, he will coat the entire city in pathogens. Barry sniffled again. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled, used tissue. The Vylosians gasped. He is wielding a biological grenade. Xylos cried. Look at the white containment fabric. It is stained with the waste of his weapon. He intends to throw it. Whoa, chill, Barry said, waving the tissue. It's just Kleenex. He is threatening us. Xylos scrambled to his feet, activating his flight thrusters. Retreat. Get back to the sterile zone. Barry took a step forward. Wait, I just wanted to know if you had soup. Stay back. The Vylosians fired, not weapons but cleaning supplies. A beam of UV light hit Barry. It didn't hurt him. It just gave him a slight tan. He is immune to sterilization, the medical drone announced. The viral load is too high. He is a Class Omega Bio-Titan. Barry coughed. A deep, hacking cough that rattled his chest. To the aliens this sounded like a tectonic event. Sonic attacks. Xylos screamed. He is trying to rupture our internal organs with resonance. Evacuate. Evacuate the planet. The high purifier flew back to his ship at Mach 2. The guards followed, screaming, wiping their armor frantically even though the sneeze hadn't touched them. The massive white ships ascended into the sky. They didn't even bother to retrieve their ground equipment. They just left. From orbit, Xylos looked down at Earth. Nuke it? His lieutenant suggested, trembling. No, Xylos shuddered. If we nuke it, the vapor will spread into space. We might get some of it on our windshields. We must quarantine the entire solar system. Build a wall around the Oort cloud. Put up hazard signs. What shall we classify the species as? Xylos looked at the replay of Barry blowing his nose. Classify them as the leaking ones. Unclean. Untouchable. Gross. The fleet warped away. They didn't look back. On the ground, the crowd looked at Barry. Barry looked at his tissue. He shrugged. Guess they didn't have any soup, he muttered. Then he walked into the pharmacy. You got anything for a runny nose? He asked the stunned pharmacist. Buddy, the pharmacist said, handing him a bottle of syrup for free. You just saved the human race. You can have whatever you want. The Vylosian Empire marked Earth on every galactic map with a skull and crossbones symbol. But not the cool kind. The kind that means biohazard waste dump. Aliens avoid us now. Not because we are dangerous warriors, but because they think we are disgusting. We realize that our greatest defense isn't our military. It's our lack of hygiene. We are the galaxy's gross kid that nobody wants to sit next to on the bus. And honestly, we are okay with that. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We are told to cover our mouths when we cough. But maybe, just maybe, we should be coughing at the invaders. If you think weaponized snot is a valid military strategy, hit that like button. Comment below, what is the grossest human habit that would terrify a sterile alien? Subscribe. And wash your hands, or don't. It keeps the aliens away. Quarantine active.